we are back with For the Rest, and it's time to fix it.
And from the last episode, I bet you remember that we removed this huge pile of parts, but let me show you what we are going to install today. So while guys are working and cleaning the engine, let's talk about what we got today and what we are going to use. As you can see, we have a brand new engine head. We are not using the old one because it's wrapped. We found a good deal to buy the new for a really good price. That's why we are using it rather than playing around with the old one. Additionally, we are going to use the Mountune multi-layer steel head gasket, which is much thicker and definitely more reliable than OEM one with that sealant rings stuff and etc. That's bullshit. We are going to use the proper parts to make this engine at least more reliable than it was. It's not gonna be bulletproof. That's why these engines are called Ecoboom. Guess why? Additionally, we are going to use lots of new gaskets for everything, I guess. It's even the new AC compressor belt included. Additionally, we have new fuel pressure sensor. That's because the owner asked us to replace them. He said that he had some misfires before, so he wants to make sure that it's not gonna happen again. We are going to replace oxygen sensor. It's also gonna be brand new and shiny, OEM, like it should be. I always prefer OEM oxygen sensors rather than universal ones. We found lots of them that were not working and yeah, just a huge pile of garbage. Additionally, we are going to replace the hose of the breather, and to keep the wall head together, we are going to use ARP head studs. As you can see, we are completely different from the head bolts and have completely different torque specifications. Why we are using them? We believe that because of the misfires, knocks and etc., head gets lifted a little bit. It's starting to leak into the cylinders, I mean the coolant. In this way, we want to prevent it. That's why we are going to use the thicker head gasket. We are going to use the head studs to keep everything more steady, and yeah, we will see. Let's hope it's gonna help, and the owner will be able to push the engine a little bit and increase the power. Because this was the completely stock engine that blew the head gasket. As you can see, you don't even need additional boost or additional power to do that. So make sure that you take care of your Ecoboom and do the maintenance and everything else properly in time. Check the spark plug gaps, replace your ignition coils, make sure that you are using good quality fuel to prevent it from knocking and from misfires. That's enough of talks. Let's go to works.
Let's dig in.
As you can see, the guys are cleaning up the threads. It's really important to do because in case you have the oil inside head threads, you can crack the block and you can damage the engine. So make sure that you are cleaning it, that it's completely oil free, because when you have oil inside, you have to understand that the stud or the head bolt would like to get deeper, and you have the oil on the bottom, and it's just trying to push and compress everything. It works just like a hydraulic cylinder. So yeah, please clean your threads and head bolts holes. Clean your holes. What I forgot to mention, we're always using the brake cleaner to thinner the oil inside the threads. So it's much easier to blow out rather than to try to blow out the oil. So remember, use brake cleaner or something to thinner the oil, so you're gonna clean it up much easier. Let's talk a little bit about the studs. As you can see, they look like just like normal head bolts without just the cap. But there are a few important parts to mention. First of all is that you have to apply the grease to the threads. It's the same for the head bolts. Workshop manual says that you should apply some engine oil, just to make sure that it goes in freely without any resistance, but don't go too crazy. That's why I'm using simple brush in order to apply the grease rather than messing around with my fingers and making a mess. Apply at the bottom of the thread, just like so. Don't go too hard on it, like I do on rockers. Don't push it be friendly. So simply thread it by hand. You can always use a wrench if you want, but don't go too hard. Just hand tight. You feel that it reached the bottom and stop it. Don't go too hard on everything like I do on the rockers, because engine gonna cry like rockers.
I never cry.
You always cry.
Never. Even when I was a baby, I didn't cry.
Even when you were born.
Yeah. I born with a smile.
Yeah, and you were asking not for milk, like Claudia always says. We should take care of your addiction and etc. But we're trying to fight with that because you can see this is happening from the childhood. So Claudia, don't push him. He's on his back to first step program.
I'm on too much pressure, and there is no addictions. It's just pure pleasure.
So yeah, just use the brush and play around like a vanguard. As mentioned before, I always said, read the fucking manual. The manual says about the washers that it has to be oil-free. It's just coated to prevent it from rusting. So you have to clean it with a brake cleaner. Don't use any grease at all under the washer. You have to use a little bit of grease under the nut and at the top of the thread. And that's it. But never, ever, ever any grease on the washers. So let's put the engine head gasket. As you can see, it goes like that. Simple, easy. Just make sure that all the passages of the coolant are aligned. After that, you have to grease the threads of the studs before you're putting on the engine head. Like so, you see, without any scissor handing, you saw what was happening before with the head, how it was looking, and how smoothly and easy you can put it on. I don't know who was working on it before, but definitely was not doing the best job. Let me show you the life hack. If you want to put the washer easier, just take a screwdriver, put it on top of your bolt or nut, and that's it. Much easier, rather than trying to play with your fingers. And it's the same with the nuts. You can use the same technique when you have the hard reach places, like so. It's much easier and more efficient. Don't forget to lube the bottoms, as it states in the manual. Don't forget to read the manuals. This is more than enough. You don't have to go too hard with it. You can hear the sound? Tuzve, what are you doing?
Like always.
Let's leave him over there and continue with the engine. At first, just hand tight. You don't have to go crazy with the nuts. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely gonna use the sequence and follow it. As you can see, I have the exact procedure, which nuts from 1 to 10 you have to torque, and to the specific torque specification. I'm not putting the nuts right now in the sequence because I'm not torquing it, not putting it down and etc. I just want to put everything back together. Slice, what do you think about the mullet? I think you forgot to show everyone your brand new haircut, no?
Mine is still under construction,
Under construction? Underway?
but I know one guy who could rock a mullet. This guy could rock a mullet.
No.
No. Yeah. You would look fantastic, Rokas.
Sexy?
Sexy?
I'm now sexy. And looking good. Now I need that mullet.
Guys, you should tell us in the comments, should Rokas grow a mullet or not? Because the whole team says that he should, but he's not listening to us. So maybe he will listen to you guys. And yeah, please encourage him. Look at that baby face, how awesome he would look like. Okay, so initial torque is 25 foot-lips or 33.9 Newton meters. So we go by that. After that, 50 foot-lips, and the final is 75. Then we will have to loosen all the nuts and repeat the sequence. Let's do it. Now it's time for 50 and then it's for 75. Final. Not final, final for the first sequence, but okay, so first sequence done. Now we have to loosen the nuts from 10 to 1. So it means from 10, 9, 8, 7, and etc. in reverse order. And then we have to repeat the same process again. I need to take a rest. Rogas, wanna join me?
Yep.
As you can see, he is my young Padawan learning, but I have to make sure that when doing such things, he is away from beer.
Sad.
Responsibility, Rox. Responsibility. I wanted to say one thing, that the whole idea of the workshop of our team is that we want to share the knowledge, not just with our viewers in YouTube and etc., but especially between us. So, for example, if I know most about the engines, about building them, I want to share that information with Rokas so he can grow, you know, and he can also do stuff that is related with the engines and etc., while Tote focuses on the body kit together with Martas. And Slice focuses on video, social media. Everyone has their part, and my part is to share the knowledge.
Share and yell.
Share, yell, and provide funding.
Good enough, just miss that beer taste.
Yeah, but you have dry days when building the engines.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's time to move on and put the engine head together. We have to put in the camshafts, the hydraulic lifters, the whole timing chain, and etc. I was removing each side separately, just not to mix everything. Even it has the markings, number 12, number 13, number 14, number 15. But still, I prefer to do this way, so I'm sure that everything is in place and I don't have too much stuff around me, and I'm not tightening anything right now before putting the timing locking tools and etc. So it's just to hold it in place and that's it. Also, as you can see, I'm using assembly lube in order to prevent the camshaft spinning without any oil or anything when we start the car. That's why I'm putting some of it on the lobes, so it's not dry. Don't do things when it's dry. As you can see, the end caps have the grooves for the sealant, so we have to apply the sealant over here, and only in this place, not any other, because these spots are completely flat with the engine head, so don't apply anything over here. As you can see, it especially says to tighten each bolt 2 turns at a time, and stage 1 is 7 Newton meters. So it means that you have to go step by step, slowly, in order not to damage the camshafts. Otherwise, you can bend them, you can crack them. So make sure that you are doing that correctly. Now I'm going just to meet the surface for all the bolts. What you can see that I'm not using electric tool at all right now in order to prevent it from any damage, and to be sure that I'm putting everything in the right order and not going too hard on the camshafts. And also I said it wrong. It's not 12, 13, 14. It's intake 2, intake 3, intake 4 and intake 5, because this is the intake camshaft and this is the exhaust. So on this side you will find E2, E3, E4 and E5, which means it's exhaust side camshaft caps. the camshafts in place. Now it's time for a timing chain. We will see. Maybe we will be able to install the timing chain without removing these two, because we are cheating. Before we close everything up, I wanna lube the chain and everything a little bit more with just plain but a high quality engine oil. Not the assembly lube, but the engine oil. Okay, so finally everything is put back together. We managed to make sure that the crankshaft pulley is okay. I mean, the timing, for that you need a tool like this in order to fix the sensor next to the teeth, because otherwise it can go wrong and you're gonna have wrong timing. So make sure that you're doing that according to a workshop manual. And now it's time to pour in the oil and start it. Look at how big this cap is.
Very big.
The biggest cap we ever saw.
For the big car, big cap.
Also, the interesting part is that this engine uses specific oil with Ford only specification. Additionally, it's 5W50. So it's like, the problem was that we didn't have it in our workshop, so we had to order it and wait for delivery. Sounds fine. We wanted to start the engine first before putting in the coolant, just in order to check if it starts. The whole fuel system was empty, so it took some time to prime it and get the engine started. When you compare this car with, for example, BRZ, it's not that agile. The steering is not that responsive, you know. It's like it adds a little bit of smoothness to the steering and etc. Also, definitely we have turbo lag, better sound, definitely better. It's a low tune, but overall, if you would ask me, I would prefer the new BRZ because of the responsiveness, the agileness of the car. It's more like a toy. This one is more adjusted for daily driving, you know, to be a family wagon. You have 4 proper seats and rear doors, so yeah, you can use it as a normal car rather than just a car for fun. I know, with BRZ, I would never use that car for a daily. It's a toy, and this one is more built to be daily. It's fun, but still not that crisp like I would love it to be. I even chose the track mode, but it's still not that agile like it was with BRZ, for example. This is something that I was always thinking about this car, because I wanted such car at some point because of you know, Colin McRae and etc. It was a dream car, but I don't know. I don't feel about this car that, oh, it's exciting. Because when I was driving BRZ, I was real excited. When I was driving my 335i, I was excited. And about this car, it's, I don't know, it lacks something. It's not the most sporty car. It's not the luxury car. It's something in between. You have that feeling of, I don't know, of sport, but still, it's, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it. And the response of the throttle, maybe with stage 1, it can be improved, but I was not a huge fan of tuning these engines because of reliability, the issues with the head gaskets. But now, maybe it can be adjusted a little bit to add that responsiveness, because right now it's like, it's a little bit sleepy, you know? It's it has that sleepy feeling of the car. And when you're looking into it, when you're looking at the design, at everything, what this car represents, it lacks that. I completely understand why lots of guys building these engines to have something more from it, because from the stock engine, it's it doesn't have that excitement. Yeah, that's the correct word, I think. So maybe this is not something how I would love to end this video and add more excitement, but this is completely honest review from my point of view. I don't want to start a fight between the fanboys of this car, but yeah, it's, as I mentioned, it lacks something. It's not fast in the straight line from my perspective. Sorry, that's from my perspective, it's not fast. I used to drive with daily with more than 600 horsepower, so for me it's nothing special, but for the corners and for having it around to play with, I believe it's also too sleepy, and the response from the steering wheel is too slow. So this was my dream car at some point. My idols, Colin McRae, Ken Block, were driving this car, different versions of it, of course. For their legacy, I think it should be more agile and more precise and definitely more powerful. Because for Ken Block, I bet he would love to have all 4 wheels spinning when he is launching this car. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe, press that push notification button so you never miss any new videos. And yeah, see you next time. See you next week, definitely. Bye.
Okay, time to go to the track. Sharp corner in 3 kilometers. Let's go.